reveals a growing wave of skepticism amongst Americans towards Israel's actions in Gaza. Just 23% say that the Israeli military response...
I mean, I kind of want to talk to the partially justified. Like, that's what I want to talk about. The partially justified. Like, well, what do you mean by partially justified? Which part of it is cool with you?
The Hamas attack.
The only part that's cool is the first response after October 7th. After that, they kind of went overboard.
Is fully justified. That's a sharp drop from October 2023, just after the October 7th attacks. 22% of Americans polled now say Israel's actions are not justified at all, reflecting a significant shift in public opinion. Well, church leaders visiting Gaza.
And shout out Terry. Appreciate it, sis. She says 3.5 years and we got still more liberal tears to collect. I mean, honestly, you guys are just really keeping us quenched over here. And I can't lie, guys, throughout the day, I do get thirsty for liberal tears, and I got to come here to get it every night. I appreciate you guys. You really helping a brother out. Really are. I know you Dems love helping black people, so there you go.
To show solidarity today after 3 people were killed in a strike on Gaza's only Catholic church. The visiting clerics include the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, who said the strike was a direct hit by a tank. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the incident is under investigation, but blamed stray ammunition. And Pope Leo has offered his support and sympathy to Gaza's Catholic community. Many from Gaza's small Christian community have been sheltering inside the church.
For more than 3 weeks, we've been under constant bombing and destruction. The Israeli occupation makes no distinction between Christians and Muslims. Now both mosques and churches are being targeted. Christians and Muslims alike are under attack. This is the enemy, the Israeli occupation. This is what they now consider their target bank, houses of worship, without differentiating between Christian or Muslim sites.
Now, they did call it a accident, but, well, I don't know how much you want to believe that. But yes, Israel did come out, say it was an accident. They're doing an investigation. Don't worry about it, guys. It was just an accident. We just accidentally bombed a church. And it's crazy. I'm surprised they didn't say Hamas was hiding under it. I'm surprised.
Well, for every day that talks around a ceasefire and hostage deal remains stalled, more anguish, of course. A former Hamas hostage has given his first international media interview since being released in February. CNN spoke to Or Levy about the more than 16 months that he spent held captive in Gaza. Jeremy Diamond has the story.
5 months ago, these images of Or Levy shocked the world. His emaciated body, a testament to the 491 days he was held hostage by Hamas.
And I must say, it's after 3 weeks of a lot of food that got into, that we got.
Meaning...
Hold on, and shout out to my man James Foley. He said, disregard, I just miss Vlad. I mean, but special shout out to my man Green Bean. My man done gifted 3 subs in here, man. Appreciate the support. Hey, man, let's go Green Bean.
Had you been released 3 weeks earlier, you would have looked a lot worse.
For sure.
That's hard to imagine.
It's hard to understand how difficult it is to live on 1 pita a day for 491 days. It's something that no human should live like that. And for the people that are still there, I know those days were even worse than what I've been through. And it's scary.
Just as difficult as the physical toll was the emotional burden of captivity, being ripped away from his then 2-year-old son, Almog.
When his birthday came and I was there, it was my worst day of my life.
What did you do on that day?
So I sing to him. And crying most of the day, thinking and telling stories about him, about what we went through. Promising that I would do whatever it takes to go back and doing his next birthday together.
That wish came true 2 weeks ago, a birthday that came 5 months after Or was reunited with his family and with Almog.
I remember seeing him, hugging him, hearing his voice.
All right.
Crazy.
But he says that day was also the hardest of his life. It was the day he learned that his wife, Einav, had been killed on October 7th.
Oh,
I met
damn, bro.
this woman from the army, and I asked her about my wife. I told her that I think I know, but I'm not 100% certain, and that I want to know. And then she told me.
Man.
Or and Einav were huddling inside this bomb shelter when Hamas militants began throwing grenades and opening fire.
And the last picture that I remember seeing is the Hamas terrorist shooting inside the bomb shelter.
Hersh Goldberg Polin, an American-Israeli later executed by Hamas in captivity, was also kidnapped from that shelter. They would spend 3 defining days together in Gaza's tunnels.
He said to me, "He who has a why can bear any how."
This is wild.
And for me, when I was in captivity, I understood that I have a why, and this can help me survive anyhow.
When he got back from Gaza,
And shout out to my man Vlastine. He says, "Fam, am I invited to the cookout/barbecue? Of course, my friend, of course." And shout out Green Bean coming in again, pretty much donating another membership. And if you receive a membership, make sure to email me for the Discord link. Don't worry, I got you.
he got the mantra tattooed on his arm.
What or who was your why?
Almog. Every rough day that you're about to crack, I was to touch here, right where I did my tattoo, and talking to Almog and saying to him, "Yeah, you're my why, and I will go back for you." And I remember on rough days, I would like to do like this, feeling stronger, and not wanting to die.
The thought of dying crossed your mind.
Every day. But for me, I didn't accept that because I knew that people are waiting for me. My kid is waiting for me, and I don't want him to grow up without mom and dad.
Or is home, but he must now answer.
And shout out Vladstein. Well, not Vladstein, but hey, shout out Vladstein as well. But shout out my man James Foley and Green Bean, man, trying to get more people into the Discord. So shout out to my man James Foley for the 5, and shout out my man Green Bean for that's Green Bean's 5th one at this point. So appreciate the support, guys. And like I said, if you have received a membership, you can go ahead and email me for the members only Discord. Appreciate the support, guys.
His son's questions alone.
So just the other day, asked me why I didn't take him to this far place I was in.
That's how you describe it to him? You were in a faraway place?
Yes. So he asked about his mom, about what happened to her, about who caused it.
What do you tell him about her, and how do you carry on her memory?
So first of all, I explained to him every time that his mom did want to go, that his mom loved him from the bottom of her heart. I'm showing him pictures of her every day, of us 3, telling the story behind this photo.
Yeah, my heart hurts for the man. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, damn. Bro came out of captivity and found out that his wife is dead. I'm like, oh God. Man, I'd have been I'm beside myself. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the geopolitical side of things. Let's start with a Trumpian Japan. Yes, Japan is kind of having their own America first moment. Let's get right into it, guys. And then we're going to go ahead and, circle around the world with this. We even got something on France as well, because apparently these guys don't want to work. And I'm like, what's new? Japan's Trump moment. And before we get right into it, man, shout out to my man Green Bean for another one. And shout out for my man Anonymous for throwing another 5 in there. Like I said, and shout out because you guys are trying to grow. Thanks for growing the membership, guys. And let's get people in on the discourse. You can get full value out your membership. Because we like to do watch parties in there as well. And will be a watch party, UFC watch party this Saturday. Well, today. I believe it's Max Holloway fighting. So I think it's for the BMS belt, the baddest motherfucker belt.
It's election season in Japan. The country will go to polls on Sunday. They will elect members to the upper house of parliament. And it's a big test for their prime minister, Shigeru Ishiba. Right now, his coalition has a majority in the upper house, but after the polls, they may not. They may lose that majority. And one reason for that is a new far right political party, a Trumpian upstart. The party is called Sanseido. Their main campaign pitch is Japanese first. Sounds familiar?
Sure
It should,
do.
because this is Donald Trump's slogan. The US president says America first, and this party says Japanese first. They are projected to win 15 to 20 seats in the upper house. That's out of 125 seats that are up for grabs. They may win 15 to 20. Again, this is familiar. Just look at far right parties in Europe. They never win enough seats to form government, but they win enough to trouble the mainstream. And it's the same in Japan. The Sanseido party is nowhere close to power, but they're shaking Ishiba's chair. The question is how? This party is a classic 21st century creation. It was not born out of a movement, it was born on YouTube during the pandemic. They used to spread fake news about vaccines. They pushed conspiracy theories about a secret cartel of rich people, all classic far right tropes.
I mean,
But their biggest strength
I don't
is
know. If we're talking about Japan, then you're not too far off.
immigration. If it wasn't clear, they're against it. They're against immigration. The Sanseido talk about a silent invasion by migrants. They blame immigration for the rising inflation in their country. Now, to be clear, inflation is a problem in Japan. Their central bank has a target of 2% inflation, but the actual rate is 3.3%. And it has been above this target, the 2% target, for 39 months now. And food is the big problem. Rice prices have doubled since June last year. So the Japanese are feeling the pinch. Enter the Sanseido party. They have given the voters an easy villain to blame: immigrants. Just look at the numbers. There are 3.8 million immigrant residents in Japan. That's an all time high, 3.8 million immigrants. But in terms of proportion, it's tiny.
I
Migrants
mean, hold on now. That's kind of wild to say that for Japan. I mean, well, in terms of how small their country is and how highly dense they are just off their main population alone, leave out the immigrants. Yeah, was already kind of overpopulated. So to add 3.8 million immigrants is a bit tough for them.
make up just 3% of their population. Compare that to the US, where the figure is more than 15%. So
Yeah.
technically, immigration is not a problem in Japan. Just one difference, though.
I don't know, sis. I'd have to ask a Japanese person that one.
Japan is not America. America has always been a melting pot country. Japan has always been more isolationist. They have never needed or welcomed immigrants. Which brings us to the politics. The Sanseido party has tapped into these sentiments. Their success has forced mainstream parties to do the same. Prime Minister Ishiba has set up a task force. It will investigate crimes committed by foreign nationals. And I know it's a bit odd. Why can't ordinary cops investigate these crimes? It's the same law, it's the same jurisdiction. So why do you need a different task force?
Honestly, I think we should let Japan be, well, fully Japan. Because, let's be quite honest. Japan don't really accept other people like that. I mean, the immigrants, I mean, they're nice people, but they won't accept you fully into their culture. It's like you got to be thoroughly Japanese. Even those who, look, if you go over there right now, you guys, you right there, my guy, and go over there and impregnate a Japanese woman, I would advise you to take that baby with you and the woman with you, because they will never be accepted into that culture, because Japanese believe in Well, I would say a fully Japanese society. I mean, they want 100%. They mad about the 99. So you got to be honest. I'd say let's let them have it. If they want to get rid of their immigrants, let them do it. Because they've always been like that. Let's be real. It's just always been Japan. I mean, what, y'all think we're racist? Bruh, the Asians are 10 times more racist than we are. I'll tell you that right now. And shout out Johnny Somali, added fuel to this fire, plus other streamers trending. Well, my bad. Other streeters treating Japanese people badly. Yeah, Johnny Somali had to get his ass whooped. That man was playing with these Japanese people, and I'm glad they whooped his ass. But that doesn't mean all of us are just going to be like that. And here's the thing, though, because tourists are becoming like that, yeah, Japan's kind of like, can we just keep these guys up out of here? Like, we're already having our own problems. We don't need foreigners coming in and creating more problems.
Clearly for political appeal.
I feel it. I can understand them. I understand right here where the heart is.
To tap into the anger against foreigners. But the root of this anger is not actually migration. Many experts say it's over tourism. Since the pandemic, the floodgates have
Yeah.
opened. Some 21 million
I mean, shout out Vladstein, bro. I ain't gonna lie, hit the nail on the head. Shout out Vladstein.
tourists visited Japan in the first half of 2025. Japan is a top tourist destination in Asia. Of course, this brings in a lot of money and foreign exchange, but some locals are not happy. Higher tourism tends to drive up inflation. It is also putting off the locals. And we saw an example of that earlier this year. Japanese officials blocked the view of Mount Fuji from a shop.
What?
It used to be a popular tourist spot. But officials boarded it.
They protesting. They're like, nah, we don't even want to give you guys the wonderful sights no more. No, there's nothing here for you, tourists. Take your ass back home. We don't want you here no more. We don't want you viewing our mountains, our beautiful cherry blossoms, none of that. No, take y'all asses home. Y'all don't know how to act. And you know what? I can respect that. I respect it. Too bad. It is what it is. I mean, it is kind of our fault for letting some wild people over there. But then also, I guess Japan has learned their lesson. I mean, at least they ain't like, UK, just letting in a whole bunch of illegals, letting them stay there. I mean, they're just letting people visit and they're getting a hard time. Can you imagine if they were staying there, Japan? Can you imagine?
Up after complaints. So while inflation may be the top poll issue, the root concern is foreigners. And this new San-Sero party is cashing in.
It's petty, but funny.
They have some 400,000 followers on YouTube. That's the highest for a Japanese party, also 3 times more than the ruling party. Of course, a higher following on social media does not guarantee success in elections. In many cases, it may also exaggerate a party's true popularity. Nonetheless, it will encourage San-Sero. They may make a splash this time. But can they do it consistently? That is the question. As for Prime Minister Ishiba, this is do or die. His coalition lost its majority in the lower house last year, in fact. And this year, they lost local polls in Tokyo. For the first time ever, they lost elections in Tokyo. So another loss would pile the pressure on Ishiba. He may have no option but to resign. We'll be tracking the results closely.
All right. I mean, we'll hear more about Japan later on, but all right, guys, let's get into this Gaza ceasefire deal. Like I said, man, let's keep it geopolitical.
Now, amid ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas negotiators, US President Trump says 10 hostages will be released from Gaza shortly.
We got most of the hostages back. We're going to have another 10 coming very shortly, and we hope to have that finished pretty quickly. And Steve Witkoff has been fantastic. He's done a great job in that. He's a very good man, good deal maker. I said, I need a good deal maker with a good personality, and there aren't too many of them, but Steve is, and he's done a great job.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth hosted his Israeli counterpart at the Pentagon and affirmed the US's solidarity with Israel's right to self-defense.
So what, and on behalf of
The Hamas group has, however, accused Israel of blocking the ceasefire and hostage release talks. The group blames Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the deadlock and calls him a war criminal. Hamas also accuses the Trump administration of supporting Israel's actions.
War criminal Netanyahu and his ministers from the Nazi movement rejected what we proposed.
Wow. I mean, is that a direct translation? Let's go back because that man, that Hamas guy came out. I mean, off gun off the hip. All right. Let's hear what Hamas got to say. This is the first time I'm actually hearing from these guys. That's why I thought this video was pretty interesting. I'm like, first time I'm actually hearing these guys talk instead of getting bombed to hell.
The Hamas group has, however, accused Israel of blocking the ceasefire and hostage release talks. The group blames Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the deadlock and calls him a war criminal. Hamas also accuses the Trump administration of supporting Israel's actions.
War criminal Netanyahu and his ministers from the Nazi movement rejected what we proposed, and it has become clear to us that they are not genuinely concerned about the captives, since they are soldiers. One of the clearest signs of Zionist failure in confronting the resistance is its resort.
They don't care about the captives since they are soldiers. Now, let me go ahead and explain that to you. It is a law for Israeli citizens to serve in the military. So about, I believe, really 95%, 93, 95% of Israelis served in the military, or they are Israeli combatants. Like you will see, as they say, baddies walking around with M16s. And yes, most of the people that were unalived on October 7th was military combatants. And most of the people they kidnapped, military combatants. I know, right? But that's just how Israeli law works out, and it doesn't work out too well for them. Now, shout out to my man Vladstein. He says, plus remember, Chinese tourists go there and think it's their right to treat Japanese horrible because of what happened during World War II. Yeah, the rape of Dia Kong. Yeah, Japan definitely did China dirty. They definitely did it. And then they deny it. And then they neglect teaching it in their history. So I can see why there's bad blood there.
To dirty solutions, which
But let's make sure we hear my man's full complaints.
We proposed, and it has become clear to us that they are not genuinely concerned about the captives, since they are soldiers. One of the clearest signs of Zionist failure in confronting the resistance is its resort to dirty solutions, which constitute war crimes, collective punishment, genocide, and ethnic cleansing, which are, unfortunately, clearly supported by the U.S. administration.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Fighting continues in the enclave, even amid peace negotiations. On Friday evening, explosions were heard and smoke was seen rising over Gaza. Church leaders visited the Holy Family Church in Gaza a day after it was hit.
Oh, no. Go look at TikTok and look up IDF baddies or IDF women. They literally have TikTok videos of, some decent looking white girls dancing around, and they are actual IDF soldiers. It's the real. It's the real out there in Israel. It's kind of funny. I was like, interesting.
Deadly Israeli airstrike.
Necessary to be here, as you said, physically, to show that you are not neglected, not forgotten, and we'll do everything in order to be always close to you and to support all of you. I can assure from you the prayer also of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV that
the church was struck by an Israeli strike on Thursday, killing 3 people and injuring several others. The church has sheltered hundreds of Palestinians since the start of Israel's military campaign against Hamas in October 2023, following the group's deadly attack on Israel.
All right, now, you know we got to check on China.
While the cracks.
We have to check on China because you can't trust those guys. I mean, we can. Okay, let me not say that because I'm about to say something. No, I'll just say, we can barely trust the Chinese immigrants here now due to what I've been hearing and pretty much how all of them are supposed to be Chinese operatives, spies, or else their family will be hurt. So, I can't even blame them for being spies. But here's the thing now, how could I trust them? And I want to trust them. Tough.
Now let's talk about China. Xi Jinping's pet project is making a comeback. We're talking about the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative. China is back to building bridges, roads, railways, and ports and ensnaring countries into debt. In fact, this year has been record-breaking.
It's business as usual.
Chinese BRI investments have shot through the roof. We are only in the month of July, And China has signed 176 new deals. These are deals worth $124 billion. 176 deals for just the first 6 months of the year. That's more than what they did in all of last year. That means the BRI has ballooned. The total value now is well above
Kazakhstan?
$1 trillion. That's what all the BRI contracts and investments are worth, 1 trillion US dollars. This includes construction contracts, which are valued at $775 billion, and non-financial investments worth more than $500 billion. These could be investments
That's
towards
effed up. It's like, hold on. So you got this whole thing going on, and youth unemployment still remains high. Like, no, look at all the facts that was down at the bottom here, because it was actually funny. Kazakhstan, the top recipient with $23 billion. Investment in Pakistan, CPEC drops. And then we're talking about Chinese property sales have fallen 75% from 2017 peak levels. I mean, that's because their housing bubble popped. And then youth unemployment remains high. Still.
financial investments worth more than $500 billion. These could be investments towards infrastructure. And who is the biggest recipient of these funds this year? It's Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan has received $23 billion in BRI investment.
Oh, and shout out to my man Green Bean. Hey, appreciate the support, guys. Go ahead and giving everybody at this point. Everybody's getting a membership at this point. He's my man, like Oprah with the memberships. And shout out to my man Green Bean.
That's the highest for any BRI partner. This was followed by Thailand. They have received over $7 billion. Egypt comes third at $4.8 billion. And what about Pakistan? Did they see any surge in investment from China? Well, none at all. In fact, Beijing is cutting back from CPEC. CPEC is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. CPEC was one of the largest and most high-profile BRI investments. Beijing committed more than $60 billion to it, but today CPEC is a laggard. China's rate of investment has fallen by 54%.
Oh, okay.
So Pakistan is falling behind, and China is looking to woo new partners. Beijing.
So now that explains why Pakistan was so ready to lay off that war with India, because they were seeing falling in investment from China, and they're hoping that America can kind of fill in that gap. Now that makes sense. And this is why I like to listen to the geopolitics, because you see how it kind of rounds into what, goes on in our politics or what we talk about.
Calls this investment spurt a sign of strength. But is that really the case? China is spending money abroad while the cracks within its economy are widening. Their latest GDP numbers came out this week. China's growth rate stood well above 5%. These numbers are for the first quarter, that is, the last 3 months.
Gross domestic product grew by 5.4% year on year in the first quarter and grew by 5.2% year on year in the second quarter. On a quarter basis, GDP grew by 1.1% in the second quarter.
On first impressions, this seems like good growth. But the fact is, China's domestic economy is struggling. The property sector remains in an extended slump. Demand for new homes is still tepid. It has fallen below 5 million units a year. At its peak in 2017, 20 million new homes were being sold in China, but now that figure is less than 5 million. That's a drop of 75%.
And people weren't even buying them. They were just a good asset to buy because, well, you bought a home for 500,000, and in that time it was like doubling to a million, 1.5 million, and you wouldn't even have to live in it. It would just be there for you just to liquidate, just in case you fell on bad times. And a lot of people was throwing their assets or throwing their money into the real estate market. Now, when that real estate market or their housing bubble popped, just like how ours did in 08, what happened? Houses prices dramatically fell and everybody lost their money. And that's exactly what happened in 2022 to China.
Plus, unemployment is rising, especially among the youth. Almost 15% of China's youth is jobless. There aren't enough new jobs being created. Deflation is another warning sign. Prices of goods are falling year on year. So consumers have postponed major purchases. They're holding off on spending because they expect the prices to fall further.
Yep, and that is the consequences of deflation. Is where, like I said, when deflation happens and your currency just gets, cheaper and cheaper and all that good stuff, prices start to fall dramatically, and people do not want to buy because every day they're showing up, prices are getting lower and lower and lower, and it stalls consumer consumption. So yeah, and that what hurts the economy and their GDP. So, and this is all going down in China as we speak. But China don't give a damn. I mean, they'll let their people suffer and they'll just keep on pushing with the initiative, hoping that it'll save their ass from, their crippling amount of debt.
And that may work for consumers to buy what they want for cheap, but for China's economy, it is a red flag. Falling consumption will impact their growth prospects. So there are clear challenges at home, serious ones. And yet Beijing continues to pour money into projects abroad. It is buying global influence using its checkbook in Asia, Africa, and beyond. It is prioritizing Xi Jinping's ambition over the people of China. The Communist Party would sell these investments as a win to show that as the US recedes from the world stage, China is taking the role. Aren't ordinary Chinese citizens questioning this? If their country has the money, why is it not being spent on them? Why are they struggling as their government builds roads and airports and
Oh, because they're trying to go for economic dominance at the expense of their own people. I mean, they're literally stealing money out of the banks of Chinese citizens, refusing to pay Chinese citizens for their labor in order to keep this going. So people say that, oh, China got it straight. China knows how to get it right. Okay, go in China and watch you not get paid for 3 months. And that's how they keep this communist dream afloat.
far off lands. Perhaps they are asking questions, but we wouldn't know because Chinese censors maintain a tight grip on dissent at home. China presents the BRI as a symbol of power, but the rest of the world sees it for what it is, a costly and dangerous distraction from its troubles at home.
Well, I mean, she ain't lying. But all right, now let's get over here to this very concerning story about this Tampa man who was beaten to death in the West Bank.